Could I have everybody's attention? I welcome everybody here today. I know we got a terrible heat wave out there, but I do welcome everybody here. It's a very, very special day for the City of Fort Oglethorpe. It's going to change the way Fort Oglethorpe is seen as you enter into Fort Oglethorpe for generations to come. There's two real great highway systems that have came through this city during my lifetime. One is Battlefield Parkway, which opened up the commercial corridor and really cooled off the historic district, which we're talking about today. We have received notification that we have been awarded a $3 million grant. No state funding, no city funding. It's $3 million pure money to redo that 8/10 of 1 mile of roadway. It's going to turn that stretch of road into a showpiece. There's twice a year, that people, you and I, all of us, stop and think about it. We spend money without even thinking about it. That's when we're on vacation and at Christmas time. On vacation, we see something we think is terrible, but it's cute and it's too expensive, but we buy it because we're on vacation. And at Christmas time, there's something cute, expensive, and not worth the money, but you buy it anyway because it's Christmas time. What we're trying to do in the City of Fort Oglethorpe, we work very, very hard on this, is to make all these visitors from all these states that come to visit Chickamauga Battlefield slam on the brakes and spend every penny they've got before they go home. We want every dime they've got. We want to send them home poverty-stricken. There's 21 states that fought in the Battle of Chickamauga. I didn't know that until the 150th anniversary. Jim Ogden shared that with us in the city. We have 21 flags of those 21 states as you enter Fort Oglethorpe coming down Highway 27 now, of those 21 states. It's the first thing you see if you come down 27. If you're going east-west on Battlefield Parkway, you also see those. In our 2014 budget, we have monies to buy a cannon to place there along those 21 flags. And if that don't get their attention, I guess we can put a belly dancer on the sign. But it's beautiful, and I'd like to thank all the people that made this possible, this $3 million grant. There's not any one person that does this, and there's some history behind this. Downtown Development Authority, ARC, RDC, so many, many people that have made this work. When I took office in November 2010, due to the tragic death of Mr. Cobb, and Ronnie and I went to school together, I was elected for the remainder of his term. Mr. Ham was Mayor Pro Tem at that time, former councilman, and he really, truly helped me. He shared with me some of the things that had happened on that stretch of road. There had been, if I understand it correctly, a couple of TDOT grants that had been applied for and received on that stretch of road. Both of them kind of slid down the tube. Part of it we used on Battlefield Parkway, or they did. I wasn't here during that period of time. And at that point in time, we tried to figure out a way, and with Lewis's help, a way to revitalize that stretch of road. We knew that we had to do that. We knew that we had to take advantage of the tourist traffic that comes in here. We knew we had to get their money before they went home. So we got all the parties together in the conference room right over here that had been involved in the TDOT grants, the ones that slid down the tubes. And we talked to those people, and we asked them, this mayor asked them, back several years or several months, I don't know what the time frame was, I wasn't there at that period of time. A grant had been applied for to renovate that stretch of road, and it went down the tubes. We're going to apply for this grant if you're going to get on board with it. If you don't want to get on board, then we're not going to apply with it for it, and we're going to all go home and be happy the way it is. And I asked the question around the room, and Lewis was there, and a lot of people in here were there. And the major player in that stretch of road, I asked him directly, are you going to be on board? And he looked back at me and he made me real happy. He said, yes, I'm on board. And from that point forward, we went straight ahead. And Jim Thompson worked very, very hard to make this happen. Without him and without ARC, Community Affairs, and all the people of Downtown Development Authority, the Refresh Committee, and all of those people, none of this, Julie Meadows. And if I forget somebody, just get a ball bat and beat the devil out of me. But without all you people, Janice Cochran, it could not have happened. That stretch of road is going to be a showpiece. Lewis Ham was instrumental in this, and it would have never got started again without Lewis. And I'm going to let Lewis is a former mayor pro tem, former councilman, and he really worked very difficult. I mean, he worked very hard to get this. Lewis, why don't you tell us a little about this, and I'm going to shut up and listen a minute.
Appreciate it, Mayor. It's been a joy and a privilege to be able to see where we are today. And just wasn't by myself, just one person can't get this done. It takes a group of people that are dedicated to see things grow in Fort Oglethorpe. And when we got a group of people together with the state, with the DCA, with the Georgia Tourism, and then the RDC, and some of the locals here with the DDA and all, and you had Jeff Epperson, Chris McKeever, Janet Cochran, and I'm gonna leave somebody out, and that's why I'll not start naming names, but Jim Ogden was one of the ones. And I'm gonna tell you folks, when you go on a trip, take Jim Ogden with you. It's so interesting. As we drove up 75, every place that was something historical, he told us all the ins and out about it. When we went to Shepherdstown and had a few free time to go over to one of the national parks there, he told us everything about it. And after he got through, he told me, if I'd known I was going to do this, I would have got more information together. And I said, Lord, we'd been there for 3 or 4 days. But it took a group of people. And when we went to Shepherdstown, West Virginia there, as this group, we come back with the decision that you had to get people on the Lafayette Road area involved. The ones that was owners of businesses that run the businesses and all, you had to get them involved in order for this to work, and to get the citizens involved. Make it all of their part. And I think some of the reasons that, I hate to say this, but some of the T grants failed is because it was an idea of the council, not the people of the city of Fort Oglethorpe. And that was one of the things that we wanted to do, is make it part of the citizens of Fort Oglethorpe, make it their idea. And let them sell it to them as their idea, and then see it grow. That's why we're here today, is to announce this $3 million federal ARC grant. And it's been a privilege of mine to be working on it with so many great people and all. And you know, like I said, just one person can't do it. It takes a group of people, and I appreciate everybody that has worked with us. I appreciate James Thompson here. He's been on board on this thing from the get-go. And I want to thank our national park, Chickamauga National Park. Without it, we could not have gotten this grant. And so that makes a big difference there, and all us being right here with it. And for a city our size to get this kind of grant, it's an achievement, and it takes a lot of people to do it. And I'm going to turn it back over to Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Buzz. We thank all the people that have really made this thing possible. We've got 2 new councilmen. Had an election. We've got 2 new councilmen. We've got 2 young faces, younger faces than I am. Anyway, and it's time for a change of guard. And I mean, young people have different ideals than old people. And sometimes you reach the top of the mountain before you go down the other side, and you realize that the complacency is set in, and you're not as excited, you're not as aggressive, and you don't make things happen like you used to when you were younger, much younger. Paula Stennett's much younger than I. Fred Crawford's much younger than I. They will both do outstanding jobs for the City of Fort Oglethorpe. You, the taxpayers of this city. The Downtown Development Authority has done a fantastic job. And Jim Thompson, let me introduce you and let you share a little of something about, without this man, it would not have happened.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm James Thompson. I'm in the Appalachian Regional Commission office of the Georgia Department of Community Affairs in Atlanta. First of all, I should say that our commissioner, Gretchen Corbin, sends her regrets that she's not able to be here. She's over to Walton County today. And it was just the distance was too great to get over here from her prior commitment. So her regrets. I also would say that Governor Nathan Deal is actually the member of the Appalachian Regional Commission. Gretchen Corbin is his alternate to the commission and can represent him at meetings. And I work in the Appalachian Regional Commission office of DCA, and I handle the day-to-day affairs. And I'm also working with another fellow now, Michael Harden, who couldn't be here today either. So I send all those regrets, but I appreciate all the good words that the mayor had to say about the Appalachian Regional Commission, about me. But this is, if there was ever truly a team effort, this was it. We've had a lot of folks work over a long period of time to get to where we are today. And the mayor gave you a lot of background, and Lewis Ham gave you a lot of background on how this transpired, what happened, the sequence of events. But I'll give you a little bit more history on it. I think it was in late 2010, Fort Oglethorpe applied for a Gateway Communities grant with ARC. It was not selected for funding, unfortunately. They make those decisions in Washington and anything to do with that. They've been up to be picked for Oklahoma. We did recommend the application, but since they didn't get picked for funding for that grant, we assured the city would work with them and do our best to get them some funding for a Gateway type initiative, and we did that. So that led to assembling a team of folks to go to Shepherdstown, West Virginia, to the National Conservation Training Center up there, which is a federal government center where most of the conservation training is done, and working with the Conservation Fund, who sponsored 3 days of training for us. And so the whole team was there, including Councilman Ham and Janet Cochran, Lehman Scott, and Carolyn Coburn with the Regional Commission, and some others. I probably left out somebody, myself, and Chris McKee. And Jeff. So from that team, they were able to develop a plan, an action plan, coming out of that training, and brought that back here to the city, and put the plan in place to work with the city council, to work with the residents and the business owners along the Highway 27, what they red corridor. And that's really what's gotten us to the point where we are today. The Appalachian Regional Commission also was able to fund a master plan based on that work, and based on work that was done by the DCA Downtown Development Office folks, they came in as a resource team and led the city through some planning and came up with some of the renderings, some concepts that you see for the redevelopment corridor. So that led to a real plan, a master plan through which we could apply for funding for the road, for redeveloping the road. So one thing led to another, built upon each other. The Regional Commission in Rome, Northwest Georgia Regional Commission, has had a big part in this. They wrote the local access road application that resulted in this funding. And so they're also a big partner. Georgia Department of Transportation is a huge partner in this. They will actually, this grant award, they will actually administer it, do the day-to-day management of the award. They work with the Federal Highway Administration on actually getting the money. So many partners, a lot of twists and turns, but we're very glad to be here today announcing this award. And it is the largest, in my tenure with ARC, with the state of Georgia, it's the largest award that I can remember. That's another great thing in our favor, I think. And as the mayor mentioned, it's 100% federal money, so can't get much better than that. A large sum of money and 100% federal. But it'll take a lot of work to translate this grant award into a beautiful redeveloped corridor out there. I know we can do it, but it's probably going to take quite a bit of time and quite a bit of effort to make this translated to the project that everybody wants to see. So it's a pleasure to be here, pleasure to be a part of this announcement. I'm going to be around afterward if anybody has any specific questions that I can answer. But again, I would just tell you that it's a great pleasure to be a part of this and to be here today. Thanks.
I thank everybody for being here today. I think it's been an exciting day for all of us. And it's going to be even more exciting as we see the development and it coming on down. As you see this road open up in 3 phases, it'll be done in 3 phases. The last one being where you tie into Battlefield Parkway from Lafayette Road. There's a vacant building there now. It's a bowling alley. Used to be a bowling alley. And I promise you, as a retired real estate broker, that is going to be a valuable chunk of dirt for commercial development, for a hotel, motel, restaurant, this type thing. We met with a group of people when this first began a couple of years ago with a group from out of the country that had a huge interest in developing that corner. I think that development can be rekindled, but if we don't go for it, it's not going to happen. It's like a guy in New York said one time. Somebody asked him, he was a preacher. Lewis is a preacher too, but not the same kind of preacher, I don't think. Asked him how he got all the people to give him all that money. And he looked back at them right before he was deported, I think, and said, ask and thou shalt receive. So ladies and gentlemen, if you don't ask, you don't receive. And we thank you very much for being here. We thank you for everybody in this room that works so very, very hard, and the ones that are not in this room that work so very hard. We've got 2 new members of council that are going to work very hard and diligently to make this city be even a greater place. And we thank them for their efforts, and you doggone it got here at the right time. So thank you for being here today, and thank you, Jim, for all the hard work you do. Thank you, Louis. Everybody have a great rest of the day.